Time to go deeper into NVIDIA's results. The company beating on the top and the bottom line, also offering sales guidance of $3 billion. That was ahead of expectations. Data center sales, we're just talking about that, topping $51 billion. That beat estimates and well. NVIDIA saying its second generation Blackwell Ultra is now its best-selling chip. The company confirming $500 billion in orders for 25 and for 26, adding that number is likely to grow even as it's blocked from selling in China. NVIDIA's earnings helping to lift other chip stocks as well. We were talking about that a short time ago. Take a look. Qualcomm up almost 1%, kind of muted. ASML kind of muted. But in here, we see Broadcom up over 2.33%. AMD up over 4%. And Taiwan Semi up just about 2.5%. For much more, let's bring in Joel Kalina, head of technology and media trading at Wedbush Securities. Joel, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Brandon, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's just start with the numbers. The numbers that we got from NVIDIA, specifically those data center numbers, better than expected on some very high expectations. Does that just calm all the fears about the AI trade, about this being a bubble?
100%. And I think the price action this morning and last night after hours is very reflective of that. There's a long list of names trading up 2 to 7%. NVIDIA right now is up 5%. But the $65 billion revenue guide for next quarter, buy side was around 64 billion, and that had been going lower as well, just given the elevated angst around the AI trade. And I don't know if this completely dismisses the narrative around the circular nature of investments, which we are seeing, but what it does reinforce is that compute demand just continues to accelerate. And as Jensen kind of said last night, it's compounding across training and inference. And I don't think people were expecting any negatives from the conference call, given how good Jensen sounded just back at GTC in late October. But man, I mean, demand is not slowing whatsoever, and that kind of should get this trade back on the right foot.
You are getting the same question everybody's getting. Does this ease all the concerns about an AI bubble? Is it just full steam ahead on both NVIDIA? Should people be buying more, and the other names related to it?
Well, I was managing money in the real bubble, Frank, and I've been a little bit annoyed at all this bubble talk because these companies are very, very different from the companies that we were investing in then. And so we wrote a piece called The Bubble and Bubble Talk, which is a hat tip to Dr. Ed Yardeni, saying, and this was earlier this week, saying this is not the time to run away from this trade. So if you want to branch out from NVIDIA, you can buy names like Cisco and IBM. You can buy Vertiv and Quanta. We own all of these names: AMD, Constellation, Broadcom, Google, big holding for us. And we were in buying Oracle. I'm still licking my wounds from my Oracle pick for the fourth quarter, but we are in buying more. We've talked to the company. We're pretty confident that they're going to generate really robust growth in the future.
Shares of NVIDIA, they're up by about 4.7% this morning, more than $8.70. For all of that, watching what's been happening with this, gaining more than 45% just since the start of the year, if you've been keeping track of this. The AI chip maker reporting stronger than expected profits and revenue, and the CEO, Jensen Huang, saying sales of its Blackwell chips are off the charts, in his words. Joining us right now is Chris Casso. He is Wolfe Research senior analyst. And Chris, this blew expectations out of the water, not just from what you saw on the sell side, but also on the buy side, too. What do you make of these numbers? Does it ease your concerns?
It does. And, the numbers, as you said, are good, not just for the sell side numbers, but the buy side expectation, about $3 billion upside to where the sell side number was. But what was really important was this reiteration of something they talked about back at GTC Washington a couple of weeks ago, which is that they had 500 billion of bookings for the combined Blackwell plus Rubin for 25 plus 26. And then, given what they've guided to for this quarter and just doing the math into next year, that also signals some healthy upside for next year as well, which is, I think that's what the stock is reacting to.
Yeah, I mean, the fear around all of these issues and the fear with the AI sales in general, if you want to call it an AI bubble, if it is one, if it's not, is that those sales, those expected sales will evaporate, that you'll see a pullback from some of the big spenders. How confident are you that these sales are locked in, and if they aren't, for some reason, that other buyers will materialize?
Yeah, so Jensen addressed that yesterday as well. And what he said was, they said they took a different view of this and really they see this as transformational. But, our view is that what's likely to happen over the next 1 or 2 years. And OpenAI, in our view, has laid down the gauntlet that getting access to capacity is a key advantage for them. And the question is, what is everyone else going to do? It's very hard right now, particularly with agentic AI coming next year, that anybody could sit on the sideline and say, we think we're investing too much right now. So for that reason, we have very high confidence that, yes, this money is going to be spent in 26 and 27. Now, 28, 29 beyond is still a question. It's going to require, good monetization of AI, seeing profitability. But certainly for the next 2 years, we have a lot of confidence, and so does NVIDIA.
I want to take a look at the revenue numbers. We checked this out earlier this morning. Right now, we're looking at the data center quarterly revenue, but let's look at the overall NVIDIA quarterly revenue over the last 10 or 12 quarters. You'll see that $57.1 billion in revenue this quarter is, the gain that you saw between the previous quarter and the second quarter and the third quarter is more than you would even see on a quarterly basis going back 10 or 11 quarters. That's pretty phenomenal. That's pretty amazing. We kind of forget that story when you start worrying about where things are headed with this. What do you think a fair value for NVIDIA shares are based on what they said yesterday, based on what they reported yesterday?
Right. So our number for next year goes to, our earnings number goes to $8. So that puts the stock at right now just a low 20s multiple, about a 23 multiple or so. So we raised our price target to $250. But I think that addresses one of the concerns also, which is, is this a bubble? And, I was around in 2000 when we had the tech bubble, and we were trading at that point at triple digit valuations. And we're just not right now. And so from a valuation standpoint, given, as you said, where the revenue growth has been, better than 50% a year for a long time, we're looking at really strong growth next year. That, low 20s multiple is certainly not unreasonable for the stock.